We all wanted to be YouTube kids, right? Like, they film their whole life on camera and get tons of money, gifts, and fans for it. If you didn't want the same, you were probably just too smart of a child. But I used to look at all those kidfluencers and say, why didn't my mom make me a YouTube star when I was 9? Seriously, everything looked so pretty and perfect that noticing overwork, loneliness, sexual and financial abuse was just impossible. A recent Netflix documentary called Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing really opened the eyes of many of us, and today we're here to talk exactly about that. Hi guys, my name is Daisy. I'm gonna go through the most important, in my opinion, interesting and hottest point that I personally picked out. Smash the like button, subscribe button, every single button you see. Thank you guys for all the support my channel received in the past few days. Thanks again, thank you so much. And without further ado, let's get started. So, Bad Influence is a Netflix documentary about young social media stars focusing on Piper Rockelle and her group The Squad. It shows the dark side of online fame, including accusations of abuse and exploitation by Piper's mom, who also managed The Squad. Former members speak out, and the series raises serious questions about how child influencers are treated. So basically, The Squad is a group of kids that work together. They work, but it's supposed to look like they just have fun on camera. Even at a young age, Piper clearly understood it was a job, and she said something like, I basically have a job and I'm a kid. And maybe you don't see that as a big problem, like, yeah, it's true, and maybe it's even good that the girl understands that, but actually no, that puts a massive responsibility on her to make money for her whole family, and she was just 12 in that video. So before Piper became big on YouTube, it was somewhere in 2019, before this she was a pageant kid. I'm very concerned about this whole pageant kids influencer because quite obviously this is not healthy, and I really don't get what mom would put their kid under this, but Tiffany, Piper's mom, did that quite literally. Later on, Piper became quite popular among kids on Musical.ly, but the problem is that Musical.ly was popular among kids, but obviously not only kids used it, it also was popular among predators. Generally, this is my personal opinion, but Musical.ly is really creepy for me. Like, yeah, it is popular among kids who post themselves on the internet for everyone to see, and they are not protected. But I did the same thing when I was younger. I was posting on Likey on Musical.ly again, and nothing stopped me. I didn't realize the consequences, and my mom wasn't aware of that. She quite didn't care. In that case with Piper, when her mom made her a pageant kid and then didn't prevent her filming on Musical.ly and putting herself out on the internet when she was like literally 9 or something, it's problematic to me. Then we have Hunter, who was the big brother, but actually not a brother at all, just some guy hanging out with 12-year-old kids and sleeping with the mom of his so-called sister. How about that? Hunter was 19 when this whole YouTube thing started, which brings even more questions about Tiffany, Piper's mom. And clearly that's not her only obsession with younger guys. Tiffany's obsession with Gavin, plus the fact that he kissed Reagan, who was 17, on a live stream in front of her daughter. I can't imagine how traumatized that guy was, and maybe still is. I don't know. Piper tried to push away her mother when the kiss happened, and I don't know how traumatized as a kid you can be after that. I don't know how I would feel. I'd probably be very pissed off. It would haunt me for quite a long time. As someone in a documentary said, things get tough when kids make money. That is so true. Things get tough when kids make money for their whole family. It's insane. The mom of one of the Squad girls, Sophie, who worked as a stylist for The Squad, said that Tiffany told her that Piper is supposed to look sluttier than Sophie, her own daughter, and needed more revealing clothes. And guess what? That mom, whose kid was in a team and who was Piper's best friend, went and as a stylist literally bought slutty clothes for a 12-year-old Piper. We'll come back to the whole parents issue later, so stay tuned. So both for the viewers and the kids, The Squad started to feel like a cult. You could join, but you couldn't leave. One time, Sophie had a fight with Tiffany. She texted her mother saying like, I wish we could adopt Piper and leave. So Tiffany saw that message and Sophie got kicked out of filming for a while, and the condition to return was that Sophie's mom had to give up her parental rights. The audacity to ask for it is insane. Like, can you imagine how big Tiffany's ego was? I was not sure if I should even talk about the next part of this video, but honestly I think I should. Even if it's an uncomfortable topic, it's really important part of the documentary. I will use word casual just for YouTube to not ban my video. I'm not gonna go over each specific case because it is all shown in a documentary. You can watch it if you want, but I'll focus on the fact that this happened to almost every member of the squad. According to one of the girls, I think this one, it also happened to Piper and still probably is happening, but for her it's all kind of normalized. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that this is normal, I'm saying that it's been normalized for her as a kid. That is absolutely not okay. That means this is something completely unhealthy that has been happening to her for a long time from her own mother, and because it's her mother, she's just not capable of seeing what the problem is as a kid, as a child who's lived like this since a really young age. And in my opinion, just my own take, there's a real chance that this might still be going on. Like, I don't know, but seeing Piper making all those videos is not the same. My perception of her definitely changed, and I feel sorry for her. I'm not saying this to put her down, I just genuinely feel sorry. And as a promise, let's talk about parents now. They honestly seem to not give a so there was this in crushes where you are supposed to, you know, have a crush on YouTube, and it gets a lot of views, especially for kid audience. Initially, parents of the members thought that this is definitely not okay, this is weird, we shouldn't do that, but when they saw how many views it gets, they were silent about it. I don't know, their opinion definitely changed, and it just shows how weird these parents are. Yeah, this is not okay what we are doing to our kids, we should definitely stop this, but it actually get views and gets money, you know, it's very profitable, so let's just shut up and let Tiffany do this to our kids. Then Sophie's Marza, I definitely don't want to shame her because I don't know their situation and every person is different, every situation is different, so I'm not shaming anyone, but according to what I saw in a documentary, it's just insane. You know, this is not right to buy a 12-year-old so-called clothing, so-called revealing outfits, and you are still doing that for a 12-year-old. You can say that it is her job, and that is right, but her kid is also in this, and her kid is Piper's best friend. Did she give a I don't know. Let's go on with the parents issue. I really want to talk about it, guys. For context, I should add that in 2020 the squad lived together because of COVID, and that setup actually allowed them to film content non-stop. That same year their channel reached its peak, or more precisely Piper's channel, because everything was posted there. But even before that they were already pretty successful. So the parents, they absolutely do not want to take responsibility, at least from what I saw in a documentary. They openly admit that once they saw how many views certain content was getting, they just turned a blind eye to everything that was clearly unacceptable. Sophie's mom again says she literally went and bought revealing clothes for Piper. The parents also said a lot of time that Tiffany manipulated them, and that Tiffany is a great manipulator, which is true, but you're the parent. But no one ever says, damn, we really failed our kids, we really are the ones to blame. It's obvious the parents had a financial interest in all of this. I'm sorry, this may not be obvious, you may disagree, but in my opinion it is like that. And I'm not gonna say that it's okay to have financial interest, because it's not when we are talking about their kids. Like, sure, you can be greedy for money, we all love money, but not when it involves exploiting your child or ignoring what's being done to them publicly. Yes, maybe a lot of things happen behind closed doors, maybe the parents didn't see, maybe the kids were too scared to say anything, but these videos were literally published online for millions of people to see, so it's impossible not to notice that your own child isn't comfortable always, that something weird is going on, that the thumbnails are off, that the outfits are too revealing, that your child is being sexualized, that your child's vulnerabilities and personal moments are being published online for millions of people to see. Like, how can you not see that when it's literally your child and not just some stranger? It feels like the parents were thinking, well, okay, we will look and get a bit blind for a while, let my kids suffer a little, because it pays off. The documentary says the story is not about the parents and that their actions don't excuse Tiffany, who was the one controlling everything. And yes, that is absolutely true. Tiffany is still the one to take responsibility. I hope she will at least get some punishment responsibility. But Tiffany's actions should not distract us from the responsibility of the parents themselves. They allow their kids to live in a house where Tiffany didn't allow allow parents to stay. Isn't that weird? Isn't that suspicious? I mean, I definitely have doubts if I were a mom. They put everything on Tiffany, and Tiffany, I'm not taking accountability out of Tiffany. She should be legally responsible for that, you know? But as a parent, I really think that you should protect your kid, and that you should not be like, oh yeah, maybe it's a bit weird, maybe it's a bit off, but it pays off. Like, no. But in the end, we all more or less come to the same conclusion. The main victim here is Piper. She lived and still lives with a monster, and no one can help her. Soon Piper will be a teen, and theoretically she could separate herself, but I'm not even sure she's thinking about it. What shocked me probably the most about the documentary is that Piper never went to school. I'm sorry, this should be freaking illegal, because she didn't get to socialize with her peers, she didn't get the basic education, and it is just wild to me why no one controlled that. Piper, as far as I heard from the documentary, wasn't even homeschooled. She just didn't go to any kind of school. Yeah, you can be a school dropout and probably still have a nice life, even though it's not always the case, it's rarely the case, but when you have never ever been to school, that is like really problematic, and I just feel sorry for Piper. I really hope she will make it. I hope she has some savings maybe. I don't know about the money situation, but from what we saw online and in the documentary, it's not the best it could be. It's not like it was in 2020 or something. She got a new YouTube channel, and the monetization there is probably not the worst, especially considering how often the videos have been published. This poor girl, I really wish her all the best. And also, Piper didn't always want to film. Some of the girls in the documentary said that she talked to Tiffany about it, and Tiffany would just shut it down, and the next day they're gonna go filming again. It just shows how it wasn't her desire to make that YouTube channel. Like, maybe it initially was her true desire, but later on she was forced or manipulated to be in videos. What do you think about Piper and that whole situation, guys? The emotional dependence on her mother and the inability to see the horror of it all just won't let her break away for like really long time, in my opinion. At the very least, I hope she doesn't join the Bob House. Bob House is an OF creator house, if you didn't know. And yeah, legally you can join when you're 18, but it's not the best place to be in, you know? So yeah, that's everything I wanted to say for now. Probably I should make a part 2. Let me know if you're willing to see it in the comments. This whole story is honestly disturbing, and I still have a lot of questions. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you feel the same way? Did I miss something important? Thank you guys for watching. And if you're new here, consider sticking around, because we all, you know, have a little family here. Take care, rest well, eat well, and please protect the kid. Thank you so much for watching. See you later. Bye.